Oh. Good evening everyone and welcome to CRC here on Project Cars 2. We are here for the LMP3s. It is round 8 of the championship and as you can see it is raining at the Autodromo Nacional de Monza. Good evening everyone, I'm James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always here in CRC, and I am joined in the commentary box as always by Mr. 007 Professional. Professional, how you doing?
Afternoon, and hope you have an umbrella. Hope the Monza Tifosi have an umbrella. It is chucking it down, as we can see, as we already see Speedsta and some other guys making out of the pits. But yeah, Monza at night in the rain, I think that's an interesting combo and one to watch.
It is going to be a very interesting combo, because to be honest, we warned everyone last week it was going to be wet here in Monza. I didn't think actually the rain would be this heavy. I thought it was only going to be light rain, but it seems like they're kicking up a lot of spray out there already.
Yeah, it's quite wet already. I expected it to be, light rain, as you said. It'll be interesting to see how these drivers get on with the high speed and the high-speed turns at Parabolica, Scari. You got the Lesmos, which we see Speedsta going through right now. Just to see how the drivers cope with this. I think it's a good idea to go out immediately and go out first. I think the rain is only going to intensify and the track is just going to get more saturated as the session goes on. So if you get out right now, I think that's the smartest thing to do, as we see everybody mostly out on track. I think one person's still in the pits, and that is Racing at Home. Yeah,
Racing at Home has sadly not came out of the pits yet. No, we're going to see him get on well out on track. High Grade, by the way, is just disconnected from the lobby as well, so hopefully we'll be able to get him back. But look at the floodlights here at Monza. Coming into tonight, 4 points separating the top two. Speedsta leads on 105. Sinclair in second on 101. Speedsta really dominated last week in Donington and had a fantastic race. We're on board with him about to start the lap. Do you see him doing it again?
To be honest, yes. The past 2 weeks at Brno and Donington, he's just absolutely dominated. He's been the class of the field. Last week he took the championship lead for the first time. Again, he has a 4-point lead over Darren Sinclair. So I expect him and also Darren to be up there. Darren, from what I've seen, has had good pace in his practice sessions, so I'm hoping he can give Speedsta a run for his money. But, it may not be all about the raw pace and the outright pace today. It's going to be more about playing it smart, trying to find the dry lines, being very, very easy on the throttle, and also the brakes. You don't want to lock up and then potentially hit a patch of grass and, you're off to Narnia or whatever. So it's going to be a very good test of driver skill today.
Yeah, very good test of driver skill, I think, certainly in Speedsta, as we see coming through the Della Rogers chicane up towards the first Lesmo. Looking quite good through that first sector. It was quite nice and clean, and the American hopefully going to be setting up a good lap here. 9 drivers currently out on track. Aguilera, I think, joined as well, so we should be up to 11 within the lobby. Now Speedsta comes down the straight through the Saraglio kink? It's something like that.
It's a left-hand kink.
That's the corner I totally forget on this track, so bear with me. Through Ascari, through 8, 9 and 10 here, and Speedsta looking good. As we see, I think Aguilera just joining into the session. Yep, we see the frame drops there, but Speedsta now coming through very nicely indeed from the American. High Grade is also back into position, which I'm glad to say, and I think it's Nissim in behind Speedsta out on track as well. But the final corner now awaits through Parabolica, scene of a horrible crash in F3 last season with Alex Peroni, if you remember back then. Horrible crash between them. Nobody going through there though, and the softer curb actually has been removed at Monza. Speedsta now around the final corner, looking to come across the line now. And what's his time? It's a 146.6 and sets the standard already. I think these guys were talking, to be honest, about setting a 145, like a high 145. It's not out of the question with a 46.6 so far, and there's only 0.7 of a second between himself and Nissim.
Yeah, I think a 45 is possible, but I think, the conditions are just going to worsen and worsen. So it'll be interesting to see if we can actually see, Darren, who's only actually almost just 3/10, just under 3/10 off of Speedsta. So great effort by him. But to see if these guys can actually improve on their laps as they make their runs, I think they'll probably do about a 3 or 4 lap run, and then yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But so far, only 6 drivers now have put in lap time.
Yeah, Emmanuel and Mac Tolsty, actually, one of our new drivers, LRT Matter, just coming across the line as well to go 7th. I feel sorry for High Grade, by the way. I think he was coming out the pits there. No, sorry, it's Aguilera who's coming out the pits. He had to wait for everyone, pretty much, to come out the pits before he could get some free track out there. But he has got free track, and the Spaniard hoping to put on a good show. Venom, by the way, was a real good debutant last week in Donington. Are we going to see the same of him? Because he was very similar pace to Speedster. We should see him well up there with Darren and Speedster once again, I think.
Yeah, I think Venom, if he doesn't make the fuel mistake again, which I'm sure he's, looked back and looked at the fuel, the data, and is probably going to fix that for today. But his pace, his outright raw pace, was definitely up there, giving Speedster a good battle and run for his money. He seems to be slightly off the pace, but he just might be trying to get used to the conditions. Either that or the ideal conditions have already passed. So he might be starting in the mid-pack, but it'll be good to follow him, and hopefully he can make it through the field.
I think we saw in Donington last week, he really came onto us being like 8/10 off Speedster, and we were thinking he's got some good pace around him in the dry. It's a different thing in the wet, of course, because Venom, obviously, I don't think has driven in the wet here on Project Cars 2 ever, so this is a bit of a baptism of fire for him. Sinclair's just gone quickest, by the way, 46.4. I've just seen that in the bottom there. Venom going with a 148.6 if we run on board, but Sinclair, as he hops across the sausage curve there through turn 1, he's 2/10 quicker than Speedster, and Speedster just coming through the Delawater chicane and already 200s up. Is he going to improve?
Let's watch and find out. I think let's stay on board with him and see what he does through the Lesmos. Looking really, really nice, actually. Saley takes Lesmo 2. Yeah, he's getting on the power quite well. Gosh, that just looks insane. I mean, we're on board, and the water, and I'm not sure how these drivers are coping. And when it's going to dry up and potentially during the race, I'm not sure what the weather's going to do. But the driver's going to have to do a really good job and be very careful as Speedster almost loses it. That car is on rails right now, as I can tell.
Wow, and he's 2/10 up.
He's going to be about 1/100th of a second faster if he keeps that pace up.
Yeah, he's going to be 200ths of a second. He's going to be theoretically ahead of Darren, but that might have cost him. It could come back to haunt him through the final sector as he now comes through Parabolica, which is literally the only corner in the final sector because the sector splits have changed, of course, here for Project Cars 2 compared to F1. Speedster, though, across the line. I think it's a 46.2 nailed on this, to be honest. Speedster across the line. 46.1.
5/10 faster. Or 5/10 improvement, 3/10 faster.
Yeah, Darren, I thought he improved, but he hasn't. So 3.5 tenths. You see a spin.
End.
Just lost the back
that's going
end.
to be probably, too much speed in the corner, maybe getting on the throttle just a tad bit too early, just trying to be too greedy with the loud pedal. But, yeah, you can tell he's really trying. He wants that pole position off of Speedster.
Speedster has responded and has gone 3.5 tenths quicker, and we are halfway through qualifying. It's Speedster out on top from Darren in second. Nissan was one of the drivers that said an early lap. Let's see him through the first sector. I'm not sure if he's just came out of the pits. He hasn't. He's 700s down through the first sector. We'll come back on board with him in just a second, because I want to ride on board with Mac Tolsty, who goes for a half spin through Parabolica. Another one being caught out there by Parabolica. He is a former racer here in CRC. I think it was in Season 1 or Season 2, if I'm not mistaken, off the history of CRC that I looked up just before we came live. Mac Tolsty across the line, not improving, but so far, 8th position, not too bad.
Yeah, for coming back, and as you said, he's been in CRC before, and I believe it was Season 2, possibly even like a race or 2 in Season 3. But he's putting in a good showing right now. I think the corner to watch is going to be Parabolica. I think we've already seen 2 drivers kind of lose the rear end there. It's only going to get worse in the race. But yeah, that's one. You know, we got the camber of the corner as we ride on board here. You know, through Parabolica, the road kind of slopes down, so you get all the water kind of running down the track there. And if you stay up to the inside, you're asking yourself to aquaplane. And I think that's what we've seen.
Oh my God, Speedster has improved to 45.5. Oh my God.
He is the class of this field right now. That is insane.
I did say these guys were talking about doing 45s. I didn't think they'd mean it. Speedster goes quickest. 9/10 of a second nearly ahead of Darren. And these two embroiled in a championship battle. This could be something to savour between them two with 5 minutes to go in qualifying.
Absolutely. And when the race starts, you know, it'd be interesting to see how these guys actually get off the line. And then down into turn one braking, we know from F1, you know, Codemasters game and even F1 in real life, turn one can be a make it or break it for your race. We saw Max Verstappen last year or 2 years ago, you know, take it very, very easy and then just got wing damage, you know, through no fault of his own. So if these drivers have to keep it clean to just make it to the end, just to survive. Yeah,
these guys have really got to be right on the limit, I think, certainly. Especially because it's raining. One ball with Andy, who I think is just going to start off on a lap now. There was a yellow flag and a green flag came up on the race feed. Not sure who that was for. Emmanuel is down on his lap as well. McTolsty going through turn one. Just trying to pick on board who that is coming through the final couple of corners. I'm not sure who that is. It's Emmanuel. It's Emmanuel, but I think he was 52 seconds down, so he might have just came out of the pits. Oh, and he goes for a spin through Parabolica. Third time tonight.
Third time, yeah, and that's only in quali. I think it's gonna multiply during the race. That's gonna you lose a ton of time during that corner if you spin. So
yeah,
you know, it's gonna be the driver who keeps it clean, doesn't spin, might actually finish a bit higher than they expected.
Yeah, 7/10 of a second, I think, certainly. Well, it's 400th of a second separating Andy and Emmanuel. But it's going to cost about 7 or 8 seconds, I think, and that is just purely from the spin. The cars have got to get back up to speed. I think that was Speedster actually just getting out of the way of Emmanuel coming through turn one. Yeah, he's just came out of the pits there. Oh, and he's actually cut the track slightly. Well, he's ahead of Emmanuel. See what's going on here. Emmanuel, is he getting tow, I wonder? Lap? No, he's done. Was he blocking him? I'm not sure.
I don't think. I think he was trying to get out of the way, and Emmanuel is maybe trying to get a slipstream or something. Yeah, Speedster completely comes to a stop just to, you know, completely try to get out of the way. I think Emmanuel just mistimed that and misjudged that.
Yeah.
He didn't really know where Speedster was going to go, and Speedster probably should have stayed on the outside a bit more rather than taking the inside on Curva Grande. Just a miscommunication at best, I think.
Yeah, misjudgment, I think. I think the wisest thing to do would have been probably just to back off when he cut the track. And just to back off through there. But Emmanuel, more than entitled, he was 4/10 down through the first sector, so I'm not sure if that's had a knock-on effect for the rest of his lap, but we'll see how he's getting on. Andy, by the way, is in 4th position, just in front of Emmanuel, currently out on track. Emmanuel coming through. He's gained a 10th. Could he improve through the final corner at Parabolica? Let's find out as he comes directly towards, and you can see him actually. He's backing off. I wonder if that is a corner cut through a Ascari. It didn't look it to me, though.
He might have maybe just seen that he was 3/10 off of his best delta, and he just maybe wants another run. 2 minutes to go, and he has as Andy spins.
That's Sinclair.
Oh, Sinclair.
Sinclair round.
I'm gonna take a tally of this. That's 4 tonight, isn't it? Already.
Four tonight, and that's just what we've caught on qualifying. Goodness knows if anybody has been spinning in behind as well. Venom on a lap. Let's see what he's doing. 47.9, 3/10 up through the first sector. So let's cut on board then with the Scotsman. With 1.5 minutes to go, this will be his only chance to really nail it on. But Venom, we know he's got pace. Will he find that pace? Will he find an absolute miracle to get towards Darren and Speedster that we expect him to? These wet conditions really providing a part here for these guys. Highgrade, by the way, has set a time. Racing at home, I do believe. Does he have a qualifying ban? Because he certainly hasn't came out on track.
He might be trying to play a different type of race, different type of game, and just starting from the very back and just watching the carnage unfold in front of him. 9/10 up for Venom. Where's that going to put him? That's going to put him about 1 point, probably about P4, P5. It's right in the mix with Andy and Emmanuel.
If he finds time through this final sector, I could honestly see him go third. Venom through the final corner, through Parabolica. Can the Scotsman keep it clean? He does. Beautiful on the power. Coming out of Parabolica, you can see the puddles just starting to form on the inside there, but Venom now running down towards the line, pretty much running adjacent towards the pit wall. He was thinking about it. You can do that in F1. Not sure about Project Cars. Goes third, as I said. 1.2 seconds improvement by Venom. He sorts right in between Sinclair and Nissim for third. And Nissim and Sinclair not going to be having another lap either.
So that's good for Venom to put himself right in P3. He's definitely the outlier because he just joined the league. His debut was last week. A really good showing so far, and let's hope that he puts in the right amount of fuel. The gap between Nissim and Andy is, what's that, 1/100th of a second?
Yep.
So Andy will be, I mean, he's on a lap right now. We're on board with him. He's going to be really trying to find that 1/100th. He's got to keep it clean, though, through Parabolica, so we'll see what his final attempt can be.
Oh, Matter is round through Parabolica.
That's number 5.
Yeah, through Parabolica. Aguilator's just improved up to 7th. Let's pick up on board who's coming up towards the line now. High Grade is the next one to come across the line. I think then it is Speedster and then Andy and Emmanuel. But looks like somebody might have just invalidated coming through turn 1. I think Andy is actually done on his lap, if I'm not mistaken. So Andy is done. High Grade coming across the line. Surely he's got to improve on a 56.5. Comes across the line now. And he does, to a 55.2. It's an improvement.
Improvement, still off the pace, so he's going to have his work cut out and a lot of work to do during that race.
Speedster's the one that's done. It's Andy coming through the final corner. I thought it was Andy
still
on the other side of the track, but the Scotsman now coming into the pit lane.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah. It is. Emmanuel is coming down towards the sky. I think he's still on a lap. And he is. He runs wide. He won't be on a lap any longer, I think. He's coming through Ascari. He's on the 800th down. He could still improve.
Oh, he can improve. He's going to have to find about just over 3/10 or just under 3/10 to jump Andy.
Yep,
so
2.5.
we can do in the Parabolica.
2.5 tenths to find for Emmanuel as he comes now through Parabolica. Really catching it nicely through there. Just runs wide slightly, but that is to try and prioritise the exit of the corner. Emmanuel now going to come across the line. Let's see what the American can do as he comes towards the line now. I don't think he's American, by the way. I've just really clicked on that in my brain. Across the line. I don't think he improved.
Nope.
And yeah, no improvement from Emmanuel, but Speedster top of the pack. 9/10 of a second nearly between himself and Sinclair. Just look at the first sector split. 36.6 compared with 37 flat. Wow.
And then 3/10 there, and then another 2/10 in Sector 2, or 3/10 in Sector 2. That was impressive. Quali is one thing, the race is another, and the race is going to be starting here in just under about a minute's time, I believe. Or
it is,
about a minute 30.
Yeah, it is a good time to actually look through the field and see what everyone's fuel is, because we went through last week and saw Venom's cock up. And I'll swear on stream that was a complete and utter mess up from Venom. Speedster on 85 litres, Sinclair on 85 litres. Venom's got it right this time. He's on 85 litres.
Yes.
Which is good. Well Nissim on 85, Andy on 85, Emmanuel on 85. I think everyone is.
No, I think they're going to have to pit for fuel because of the nature of this track. And you're on throttle.
Oh my God almighty, Matt is on 10 litres of fuel. I wonder if he's expecting it to be dry within the first 10 minutes of the race, because I'm sure it turns to heavy cloud within the first 10 minutes.
Right, and but then it takes you longer, though, to fill up for fuel. You know, it'd be better... Oh,
exactly.
85, okay. There, he's fine. He just got 85 litres in the tank now.
It's a glitch, then. It's a glitch. Yeah. I think he was doing a setup, and we've spotted that, and he's changed it. Good. High Grade on 85, and Races at Home on 56 litres of fuel. He's going to have to pit.
He might still be loading a setup, but let's hope that he puts in 85. But he may be... It's a different strategy. He didn't do quali.
Oh, and actually, he's into the... He's not racing. Race at Home is retired.
Interesting.
And the red lights are about to go out. We're underway. Great start by Venom. Speedster gets the line well as well. And look at Andy's start as well. Brilliant start by the two Bulldog Racing Team. Venom. Oh my God, it could be 4 wide down towards turn 1. I don't think I've ever seen something like this.
Take it easy, boys. Take it easy.
Andy on the inside line. Speedster down the outside. Oh, they just about get through there. Darren around the outside of Speedster. This is for the championship, possibly, and Sinclair takes the lead of the race.
I think we're all through cleanly. There's few contacts here and there, but wow.
So Sinclair leads the way up towards Delaroger chicane for the first time. Speedster right on the back. Bump drafting nearly Sinclair. That is Emmanuel trying to look down the inside. Oh, Darren Sinclair gets caught on the sausage curb. Speedster into the lead of the race. Nearly flipped the car.
That was... Oh, he's lucky that he didn't spin around or flip over. That was a very, very aggressive curb, and he just caught that just wrong. A major accident.
Nissim and Emmanuel's been caught up in an instant, I think, there. Nissim into the back of Emmanuel. Might have just misjudged his braking point slightly. Emmanuel down to the back of the field. And yeah, he's been caught up on that. And I think it was Nissim who's dropped behind Darren and LMP3 Matter. So Nissim now down to 6th position as a result of that contact. It'll be investigated afterwards. Speeds the lead, but Andy in second. Has got Venom on the back and they make contact. Venom on the back. The two Scotsmen make contact. Andy's got to be very careful to rejoin, and he is. It's just about rejoined and fine, and he's still in 3rd. Luckily, Venom, the chief sufferer, he just completely overjudged it into the corner.
Absolutely, yeah. He was too late on the brakes, and it just seems to miss his braking point. This is an absolutely chaotic lap so far. And then, who's that going inside of Venom? Nobody. Nissim.
Yeah, Nissim on the back of LMP3 Matter, this is.
Speedster, look at it. The gap 5.6 seconds already just on lap 1, and that's because he just didn't make any mistakes. You know, I think Darren and got the two Bulldog Racing Team drivers fighting it out. Darren taking the lead, Andy falling in right behind, I believe.
No, Andy up
or is
second.
That Andy in front? Oh, wow.
Andy up to second. Oh, LMP3 Matter!
Matt!
Watch out! Oh, and there's contact, and that is Darren Sinclair that was being caught up in contact there. Unavoidable.
Yeah, absolutely. These conditions are treacherous. I would even say it's close to even...
Unraceable?
I'm not sure, red flag or something, but...
And there's like... Venom down the inside on Darren. Darren, I wonder if he might have picked up a race director warning, and that's why why he's let Venom through. So Venom now up to 5th, Darren down to 6th. Chaotic start.
One of the most have a lot of damage. I mean, he got hit hard by Matt, and that was just no fault of Matt's. He just lost it, and these conditions are just treacherous.
Yeah, horrible. Luckily, we're bone dry in the commentary box. Certainly where I am, it's absolutely beautiful. But 7 seconds the gap. Speeds to Andy. The race has been won, I think, already, to be honest.
I mean, I'm having flashbacks of Sebastian Vettel 2013.
Oh, yeah.
Just the first 3-4 laps just completely, blitzes the field, pulls out a huge gap so that nobody can get DRS behind him, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing. That's very reminiscent. I mean, look at that. You got the whole field just in that one shot, and Speeds is already around the last corner.
Yep, Speeds around the last corner, 7 seconds ahead of Andy. Andy just coming through Parabolica there now. Nissim and Aguilera, though, battling out for 3rd, it seems. The Spaniard getting closer to Nissim. Nissim thought he overjudged that into the corner, but beautifully done. Aguilera goes through the inside. Rain is not easing up for now, but we should expect it to within the first 10 minutes of the race. Or first 15 minutes of the race, certainly. Look at the spray being kicked up. We're right on board with Nissim, who's looking quite slow, and here comes Aguilera for the move.
His top speed is incredible. Look at that.
Down the inside, he's got the car stopped. Beautiful stuff by the Spaniard. Oh, and he loses control of the car. Good recovery though. Oh, Nissim's lost it. Nissim loses it, and Aguilera's given the position back, and now Venom's coming back around the outside through Curva Grande on Aguilera, and in fact, Aguilera, I think, might have picked up a race director warning. Venom's through, but he's up to 3rd.
Venom was down to P9 in lap 1 on the Lesmos, and he's already up to P3. That just shows, you make a mistake, and that can seriously drop you, or if you don't make mistakes, and that can raise up. As we got a huge battle here, and Nissim is right in the middle of this.
Yeah, Nissim really struggling. Emmanuel's struggling as well. Oh, just about gets through there, okay. And LMP3 Matt isn't behind this as well. Oh, nearly wasn't. Was the contact there?
I don't know. I think he was very, very sketchy on the brakes and almost actually touched the grass. If he touched that grass, he would have been gone. But good save by Matt.
Closest battle out on track is these two, Nissim and Emmanuel. These have had good battles in the past. and some not very good battles as well, which I think we covered earlier on in the season. But Nissim on the back of Emmanuel for 7th and 8th. And I think we've also got McToasty on the back of Darren, who's really beginning to struggle. And in fact, it's side by side actually between Venom and Agulator. Agulator back through up to 3rd.
Watch the brakes.
Oh, nearly into the back of him, and I think he has gone into the back of him. No, he hasn't. Agulator just about gets away with that, and Venom, one lucky boy once again. Agulator up to 3rd.
Yeah, I thought for a second then that Venom was just tapped Agulator, and we got McToasty on, who's that, Andy?
Darren.
I think Darren has damage because he got hit hard and had that incident in lap 1, so that car is a little beat up.
McToasty, oh, beautiful move. Round the outside he goes through turn 1 at the Retafilio chicane. Darren's going to have a comeback though here. McToasty trying to get the move done down the inside through Curva Grande. Looks like Darren's trying to carry the speed around the outside of him, but McToasty holds sway for now, and I think, to be honest, this looks like job done for McToasty. Darren just losing out on the pace. He's going to try and have a go down into Della Roger, but not quite. McToasty's through, and he's up into 5th position. That car looks slightly beat up, I've got to say, McToasty's, but certainly he is buttering his bread, and he's doing very well. And that's a terrible bread pun.
No, he's doing quite well, and he's keeping it together, and I think he's going to be trying to be consistent. He is... What position is he in right now? 4th place, right? P4? 5th. Yes, 5th. So he's in P5, and he's actually making some progress on the two in front of him, Agulator and XXV. Who is XXV?
Venom,
that's right. Is. I'm just trying to... I just see the abbreviations, just trying to learn everybody's new abbreviations here.
Yeah, Venom closing in on Agulator by the looks here. He's 3 tenths off, improving on his personal best in the final, or towards the final sector now, towards Parabolica. Is Venom going to try and go for a move? Agulator, actually, these are 2 debutants. Agulator came in last week as well. Didn't really do a great race. I think Emmanuel has just lost position to LRT Matter further down the field as well, but now Venom is on the back. These 2 debuted last week in Donington. These 2 are about to go battling for a podium, weirdly, and we're not even through 10 minutes of the race, and it looks like to me the rain's easing off.
It does. I was just going to say, it's kind of just sprinkling, drizzling now, so we should kind of start transitioning the weather periods into, there might be puddles.
Agulator's gone off.
Agulator goes wide.
Yeah, I saw that. I knew that was going to happen, to be honest. Down in towards the Retafilio chicane, he's cut the corner. He's going to have to wait up for Venom. To be honest, I would argue he shouldn't have to give up the position because Venom was nowhere near him at that time.
Yep, I agree. And he hits the grass there, but yeah, the weather transition is going to be interesting. If it stops raining, there might be like a dry line forming, and these drivers are going to have to keep those... Agulator makes a mistake.
Yeah, through the Della Roger chicane, makes a mistake, just got caught, I think, on the oversteer, and Venom's through and he's up to 3rd. Simple as that for him.
Yeah.
Simple
Venom
as
seems to have the pace. He seems to have some pretty good pace. I'm not sure if he didn't get caught up in the incidents, how close he would be to, the top, like Speedsta, if he could maybe give him a good battle. But it'll be like, it's still looking like it's raining quite hard from that shot.
It is. I can tell though that rain is actually beginning to ease off. So possibly the first 15 minutes of the race, as I said, would be the point where we could turn into dry. So I think we go heavy cloud and then light cloud right at the end of the race. Who is that going off? That's Sinclair going off through Ascari. Goodness me, he was transporting nearly to Imola there. Goodness me.
Yeah, that or Mugello.
Or Mugello.
Or one of the Italian tracks that we're going to be at later this fall.
Yeah, Darren just really struggling with this car, and championship hopes taking a major dent with Speedster up in 1st, Sinclair down in 6th. It's not the greatest thing in the world for Sinclair, but knowing him, he's going to come back, and if there's any fights ahead, Sinclair will be there, as well as McToasty, to really, really pull in on these guys, as Venom has pulled away once again, and Agulator actually has gone off and spun through turn 1.
Oh, did he hit Darren?
No, Darren avoided him.
Avoided good.
Just about.
Gosh, he's had his fair share of incidents, I think, today already. He just wants to have a clean race.
Did they actually make contact? Because he was very wayward coming through Curva Grande, unless he was put off by looking behind and didn't realise. But Sinclair,
I'm not sure.
Struggling slightly. He's in 5th now.
Might just be Yeah, it might just be past damage, you know, from the contact from earlier.
Yeah.
7/10 down already. But P5, I think the best he can hope for would be P3, because he's only 6 seconds off of the podium.
He is, and to be honest, Sinclair has been lapping around McTulsty and Venom's sort of pace, so it's actually been quite good and quite consistent from the Scotsman. Hopefully going to be providing it. Just saying that, by the way, he's just lost another 2 seconds, so I wonder if there is more substantial damage than meets the eye. Matter is on the back of Emmanuel. This is... Oh, and Matter goes for a spin! Do the Lesmo.
Keeps out of the wall. Good lad.
Resets the track, I think that was there.
Yeah, I think so. Not sure. Is that allowed, or...
I think it's banned.
There's nobody around him. Yeah, it is. It is not allowed, but there's nobody around him, and in these conditions and whatnot, I think he might be able to get away with that, possibly. But I think the stewards might be looking at that.
Yeah, well, it was caught on the stream. Nonetheless, I know on the Formula One side, reset to track is banned, so it might be different for CRC on Project Cars. We'll have to wait and see. See the floodlights coming into beautiful camera shot there. 12 minutes through, Sinclair into the pits. I wonder if it's for damage. I think it is. It has to be.
I wonder if he's going to transition to dries, tank up on full fuel, and go
Still
down
raining.
the race.
Oh, he's back out. Straight back out. And...
That wasn't for damage. Damage would have taken a lot longer.
Tyre change?
No, tire change would have taken a lot longer as well. I'm honestly confused.
I would have said drive-through, but he didn't drive through there. Well,
Stop and go would have been a 10-second penalty from F1. I don't know.
Sinclair, the pits.
Very strange.
Speedster had a race warning on him there. Not sure if that's transitioned at penalty. It hasn't. So Speedster's still out in front. Andy's still in second. He is counting as lucky chickens, I've got to be honest, here tonight. He's really just avoided all the accidents. Same with Venom, to be honest, as well. All of these incidents have happened further up the field today. It's normally further down the field where they all happen. But further up the field, it's now allowing this race to just completely split apart.
Yeah, it's like a two-tier race. I mean, the gaps are somewhat consistent from driver to driver. The only thing I see is McToasty and Agulator. That's about a 9-second gap, but everybody else is 3 to 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds away. Matt and Darren, again, I don't know what Darren was doing in the pits. That'll be something to maybe look at after the race and ask him exactly what happened. But he's got his work cut out for him now. His championship hopes are dwindling fast. If there's any hope of staying in that fight, he's got to really hope for the best. And he gets just a tad bit loose there. Shows you the difficulty of these conditions. It's still raining, but I think it seems to be lessening up a little bit. The dry line will probably start forming here in the next minute, maybe 5 minutes or so.
Oh, Venom is at a... I think he had a spin there. And he's flatlined the chicane.
I think so, because McToasty is just under 3 seconds behind him now.
I jumped on board because I suddenly realised that McTulsey was about 0.5 of a second away from Venom. And then Venom's just obviously flatlined the chicane and now pulled again 2 seconds ahead. McTulsey, I don't think, was anywhere near for him to get the move done. So Venom makes a mistake. Is he okay to keep that position? Arguments in the chat, I think, for that one.
Yeah,
I think he should keep the position, to be honest. If McTulsey wasn't trying to pull off the overtake and he didn't have the car ahead, I think Venom should keep that position hands down.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because, I think McToasty wasn't even close enough, and there's no reason. I think that was a very similar situation. I keep on referring back to F1, but I love F1 and I watch all the races all the time, and even the past historic races. Reminds me of Mexico from 2016, I think. Like Vettel and Verstappen, or Rosberg, Hamilton, they went off in turn 1 and the car ahead locked up, went across the grass and kept that P1 position. That was a huge point of debate for a long time. So something similar, but I think the person in front, you go off and there's no chance for the person behind to pass. Keep the position. It's fine.
Well, it was similar to, I think it was Emmanuel earlier on in the race as well, where he, or somebody that straight lined the chicane and kept the position. I think it was Agulator, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And we said the same there. Rain definitely looks like it's easing to me, on my screen anyways. I'm not sure if it is.
Yeah, no,
physically.
It is. It is. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more of a dry line, but maybe the colder temperatures, it's heavy clouds. There's obviously no sun to help dry up the line. I think if there's more drivers on track, closer together, they might be able to, push that water, away from that racing line. But I think I'm not really sure. So if we do transition to dry tires, when do you think that's going to be? Is it going to be in the next 10 minutes, maybe the next 30 minutes? There's still 45 minutes to go in this session, so.
Very strange indeed. And I'm just trying to have a look actually on some of the updates that came up about the penalties. Just seeing if there was anything about racing at home. There was nothing that met the eye for racing at home. I wonder if he's just not partaking in this race and just sitting out.
It certainly seems to be looking like that. Maybe a wheel issue, pedals issue, something that we don't know. That could be prohibiting from participating in the race. But yeah, it would have been actually good to see him, race today. I think he would have had some good pace. Has very good racecraft, overall. So I expected him to, kind of pick up the pieces of all the collisions, all the incidents we've seen, and I think he would have been up in P3, P4, P5 right now.
Yeah, judging by how the race has gone so far, as something has happened. Something happened in the top 4. It was a gap change? I don't know.
I don't know.
Speedster ahead of McToasty. Aguilator's in 5th. I think somebody made a mistake there, to be honest. I think, it was Andy, I think, that made a mistake. It's now 18 seconds the gap. It was something like 10, 11 seconds. So I think Andy has made a mistake somewhere. We haven't caught it, and now he's nearly 20 seconds off the back of Speedster.
It's a walk in the park for Speedster again. He's, interesting. I mean, his pace, look at that. He's the only guy in the 47s. Everybody else is in the 48s and 49s. Some guys even in the 50s and 51s. So...
There's the Sinclair, wow. Actually, fastest lap at 46.9. So he's the only one, really, that is lapping any sort of consistency to Speedster.
Interesting. And he has that damage. I wonder what he was doing in the pits. I'm still perplexed by that. Was that like a quick repair damage thing?
It must have been. It had to have been. Answers on the postcard, I think, from Darren after the race. But he is catching Emmanuel in this sim, hand over fist here, and he's really getting closer. So the Scotsman beginning to come into play. To be honest, judging by his pace, I don't think a top 5 entirely is out of the mix, because he's, 19 seconds behind Aguilator for 5th?
Yeah, and then, if McToasty and Venom make a mistake, then that's possibly a podium. And then Team Orders might come into play, and Andy and Darren might do a little switcheroo, or switcheroo.
Swatcheroo. I like that. I like that. It's a swatcheroo. A swatcheroo. There you go.
A podium is not out of the question for Darren Sinclair.
Yeah, it really isn't. He's in 8th position. He is gaining. Venom is 28 seconds ahead of Darren. 28 seconds, 41 minutes to go. 46.955 last time around. 46.3 from Speedster. 47.1 this time, so he's much quicker again than Nissim and Emmanuel. And the gap is 6 seconds between Nissim to Darren. So watch out for this gap. We're just going to carry on watching on board with him until this case. But in fact, I'll cut back to McTulsey because he is gaining on Venom again. 2 seconds the gap. McTulsey looks like he's enjoying it out there. He's been one of the drivers that has been caught up in a few incidents, but has really avoided some of the major things that have happened. Venom now could come under some pressure, and that gap is looking towards like the 1.5 seconds sort of area now.
Yeah, McToasty is probably having the best pace, other than Darren and Speedster, but he is catching Venom as he just goes green on his best lap right now, coming down to Parabolica. It'll be interesting to see, because I didn't really expect him to have the pace. He's been kind of an unknown to me. We haven't seen him in the league recently, and he's just making his debut tonight. So, but he just seemed to be enjoying these conditions. His looks very comfortable with the car, and he might be the next Rainmeister for CRC. I know that I've always enjoyed the conditions from last year in GT3s at Nürburgring, for example. Sugo, I think it was, and then the Season 3 was, forgot what track it was, but had a really good time in the rain, wet conditions, so he might be the new one, taking over.
1.5 seconds the gap. Yeah, Mactosi certainly beginning to come into play here. It's only 1.5 seconds on my end anyways. It looks that way. It's now 2 seconds. So Venom just beginning to pull away slightly. The gap is staying really relatively consistent. Darren, by the way, has had another major spin somewhere, which we've totally missed, and he's now behind LRT Matter. So Sinclair's hopes and dreams of a championship victory are taking a severe dent, and maybe, I will say this, he might be losing the championship here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the points here, because you said it's 20 points for first place and 17 for second, is that correct?
Yes.
So, Speedster's on 105, so put him at 20, that'd be 125. He'll probably get fastest lap, so 126, and he also got pole, so 128, right?
Yeah.
2 points for pole, 1 lap, 1 for fastest lap.
Yep.
So he'll be on 128. Darren is going to probably finish, let's just say P6. And how many points does P6 get? I'm guessing maybe like 8 or 10 or 6 or something?
Let me have a look, because it was in the announcements chat, I think, further up.
28, so 128.
For, what did you say for 6th? It gets 10 points.
Gotcha. So 10 points at 111, so that'll put him at 17-ish points behind. Not terrible. I mean, that's definitely possible to climb back. I mean, we've seen Agulator, myself from last season, come back from literally a 40-point deficit with about 3 or 4 races to go. So anything can happen in CRC, anything can happen in racing. I don't expect Darren to give up, and I expect him to fight until the very last possible moment to where he can still challenge for the championship. So never count him out. I think he's a good driver and strong driver. Just unfortunate the kind of race he's having today.
Speaking of which, has the rain stopped? And speaking of which, Sinclair is on the back of LRT Matter as well. And now Sinclair down the inside. Well, this is an overtake you might see. Sinclair down the inside line. Matter holding the outside line. Running down the straight. Side by side they go. Will Matter tuck back into the slipstream? You know he will. But I think Sinclair, to be honest, has got this one done. Unless Matter has a great run down towards turn 1. I can see this being Sinclair's all day of the week. And it is. Sinclair is through. And he's up into 8th position. Yeah, we see him. We've seen an overtake. At last. Yeah. It's only taken 24 minutes.
That was a quite well-calculated move from Parabolic all the way down to the first chicane, which I've forgotten the name of again.
Ratafilio chicane.
Yes, that one. But really good under the brakes. A little squirrely, but yeah, I got it stopped just in time. Car looks good, and rain has stopped, so I'm not sure if puddles are going to form. I know that different tracks have...
Oh, Sinclair's run wide. Oh. Just
it.
About gets away with it.
But, you know, different tracks have different, you know, drainage, and puddles start to form. I know the Nürburgring was pretty bad for the puddles. You had to take very different lines. Monza seems to be pretty consistent from the edge of the track to the other edge of the track. Doesn't really seem to be hindering any drivers. I think it's just very saturated, and these LMP3 cars are quite a handful to drive in the dry, and probably just a beast to handle in the wet.
Andy made a mistake. Last time around, lost 9 seconds to the back of Speedster on terms of fastest lap. And now Andy's still second, but the gap has now 8 seconds to Venom. So Andy now beginning to make mistakes. Really, he can afford to make a few mistakes, but the rain... the rain has not stopped. The rain is still falling. I can see little spits and spots and drips and drabs of it on my screen. So the rain has not stopped yet, but it will, I think, in the next 5 minutes. Which means these guys will have to come into the pits for a set of dry compounded tyres. Because the track, to me, there seems to be a lot of spray out there, but it seems less than what it was.
It for sure, it seems way less than what it was compared to the beginning and even 5 to 10 minutes ago. I did see, or not see, but I did hear rumors that some drivers may be trying to take the wet tires to the end, and some other drivers are going to be pitting for dry tires with about 20-ish minutes to go. So it's going to be a case of if you pit for the dry tires,
oh
you
my
lose.
goodness
oh my gosh,
me!
Who is that?
Venom has gone off through a Scary. A major accident. God almighty, he just saw him fly in the top.
Lights are done, and there's sparks, and that
sparks
car is
coming off that car, and that car actually is got engine damage, and Venom's done.
Yeah.
Venom is out of the race. He's got suspension damage as well. The car is going to stop. The car could blow up, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised that rear wing is still on the car, and he's having trouble keeping it in a straight line. He's only going 45 miles an hour. He's going to have to watch out. There's two cars coming right behind him.
He's got to watch out. That's Nissim.
That's Nissim.
Yeah, Nissim flashes lights. Venom holds way. It's on the inside into Parabolica, and Emmanuel's just coming through. Luckily, the corner has came in time for Emmanuel. He's still in sixth. It is. No, it's spray. Oh, and he spins! Oh, nearly into the wall again. That could have been his race over there.
I think that's smoke.
It's like a mix of spray and a mix of smoke, I think. Yeah, Darren coming through up to 7th. Venom is limping his way back home.
I mean, I'm watching the engine, the oil temperature on the speedometer, and it's already at 221. It was like at 200 when he, after he came out from Ascari. So yeah, engine damage, massive engine damage. I'm sure suspension. He can't even keep it in a straight line. The right. Oh,
McTulty's gone wide. Through first Lesbo, and Aguilator's through. He's up to 3rd. Rare mistake for McTulty, the American. Under pressure there from Aguilator. The gap was 0.6 of a second. He just went wide purely. And Aguilator's up to 3rd. It's all beginning to happen here all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think it's it's not raining anymore, so the track is in a very different state now. Just all of a sudden, within 2-3 minutes, and is catching a lot of drivers out. We got to be.
Oh, Aguilator! McTulty's going to go around. Oh, I thought he was going to go around the outside of Ascari. Goodness me! That could have been a brave one.
Oh, I thought so too. It looks dry from this camera angle. I mean, you can kind of see the. And then as they kind of come closer, you can kind of see the shininess and.
Still on the camera. Still on the camera. There's a there's a slight drop or two, but it is raining. The rain has pretty much stopped.
So Venom's going to be in the pits for quite a while. But as I was saying before, Venom went off and McToasty had the issue. You know, if the drivers decide to stay on the wet tires, that might be enough because the pit lane delta to change onto dry tires and to fill up, because I think people are going to have to pit for fuel. It's going to be possibly too much to make up that time again to pass those guys that have stayed on the wets. So it's going to be very touch and go, I think, with the tire choice here, depending on the track conditions and how much the track actually dries up. It's going to be a risk, as we saw, you know, again, F1 reference from Germany 2019 at Hockenheim. It's going to be very touch and go. You know, we saw a lot of drivers go onto the dry tires a bit too early. They spun off and went off at that little drag strip area on the last 2 turns. So, yeah, very interesting, very exciting to see.
Really interesting to see. And McTulty now on the back foot compared to Aguilator. The gap now 2 seconds. Just actually going down slightly there. It's now 1.5. McTulty, the rain has definitely stopped now, I think, out on track. There's still that one little spot, 2 little spots of rain that I see. It's very difficult to actually go on board with. Let's see, actually, on cockpit cam to see if it is raining. On that judgment, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's stopped raining, and again, like we're not seeing a dry line form. So
actually, it is a Parabolica. Just seen it on the camera angle here. We'll go through Parabolica. The dry line is forming. Definitely saw it. It'll be better from the wider camera angle. Yeah, the dry line is forming around the outside of Parabolica pretty much. Just into the corner, but it's the first sign.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think drivers are having to take to that mid to high ground in Parabolica just because if you go too low, that's where the water is all draining to, and that's where all the water is setting, so that's a spin there. As McToasty goes 1 second faster on his fastest lap, so the track is drying, the times are falling, the tire change, pit window is coming. Yeah, it's going to be what the pit crews and what the drivers are going to feel most comfortable with. You know, what setups have they gone with? Have they gone for more dry setup? Have they gone for more wet setup? as my PlayStation is about to go into sleep mode. That would be bad. Speedster, though, 35 seconds. He may actually lap some of the field. He may lap, I would say, probably Venom. I mean, Venom for sure. He's still in the pits, I think.
He's lapped Matter, High Grade, and Venom currently.
Wow. So the next one is Darren Sinclair on his list, yeah?
Yeah, 45.9 last time around for Speedster. This is qualifying sort of pace from him. But Andy arguably is only 5 tenths off that last lap around. He's still yet to come across the line on this lap, but Andy 46.4. Track definitely drying. The rain has stopped. So halfway through here in CRC LMP3, it is Speedster who leads. Andy second, Aguilera third, McTulsey fourth, Nissim fifth, Emmanuel sixth. We're going to cut to that battle now as Emmanuel has got a... well, his right light is missing. So he must have made contact with the wall or something earlier on in the race. Nissim in fifth, Emmanuel sixth, Sinclair in seventh, taking a major dent to his championship hopes. Matter in eighth, High Grade ninth, and Venom after that awful, awful crash. Alex Peroni-esque, I would say, but into Ascari that time. Down in P10, but he's still going to be picking up points.
Yeah, and I want to say, you know, going through Ascari there, I think he may have gotten on the curb on the right-hander, you know, that kind of flowing right-hander before that final left, and just got on the curb. It just shot the car out into the wall. So that's probably what happened. Looking at Darren's position and his time, though, he's only about 6 seconds, 5 seconds now behind Nissim. So P5, if he doesn't make any more mistakes, could be on the cards tonight for Darren, and that'll be probably as much as he can do to salvage his championship.
Yeah,
but Speedster run away with it.
Track is getting quicker for these guys ahead as well. That's what we've got to realise. Darren 45.2 last time around. Emmanuel, oh, is he going to go for the move on Nissim? No, he doesn't. He had a bit of a think there, Emmanuel, but so far, still Nissim, Bosnian, in 5th position. He's got a car ahead. I think that's High Grade, actually. Just ahead of them.
Oh, High Grade spins! On Curve Grande.
My goodness me. High Grade has lost control of the car completely there on the inside of the Curve Grande. That's what you get for touching the curbs and touching the white lines, even with the spray still being kicked off. And High Grade, I'm afraid to say, has just learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
He might have been doing that.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
I was going to say, he might have been doing that for the last few laps that we haven't been on board with him, and now it's caught him out. That's all I was going to say.
And Emmanuel almost loses on the exit of Lesmo, too. As you said it, those curbs are just miserably slippery. I mean, you do not want to be touching them, especially with these cars and these speeds that these guys are going at. Nissim and Emmanuel, though, have, and that is a very beat-up looking car by Venom, my god.
And that, I think, is Speedster behind them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are correct.
That is Speedster just behind them. So Venom and High Grade, this is a position. Venom down the inside line on High Grade.
Oh god,
High Grade runs wide. Venom's got to be careful. He's got still a slightly damaged car, I think, but he's through, and he's up to 9th. And High Grade is holding up Speedster just that little bit, gets out of the way. And now Venom's job is to get out of the way of Speedster as well. And Andy has had a spin through Ascari. Sorry, not through Ascari. Through the rest of it, through the Della Roger chicane.
Second chicane, yeah. And Aguilera is now only about 9-10 seconds behind. And then he's got McToasty right behind him. So Aguilera and McToasty are still kind of locked in a battle. They're not as close as they were previously, but yeah, I think the mistakes are kind of creeping into Andy's race. I know that he makes a few, and it just starts to kind of tumble downhill from there. As with anybody, you know, you make a mistake, and it's really hard to get that focus back and to just not make those mistakes, especially with 25 minutes remaining. I think we're at that point now.
Jesus, yeah, track drying through turns 1 and 2. Venom very late on the brakes there, almost too late. He has lost a position, by the way, to High Grade, and now I think he could get this one back, but... High Grade just parked it right in the middle of the track. He's gone for a spin again! Oh, goodness me!
Massive
High Grade
crash.
catches the inside curb, and Venom has been caught up in that. Unfortunate. It's down for the back of the field, 9th and 10th, and High Grade has just... I'm simply going to say this. He did not learn his lesson from a lap ago.
I was going to say he did exactly the same mistake, and that was a lethal mistake, and that is not good. And then we got, who's this, Darren and Emmanuel.
For 6th. And there's Nissim just going through Ascari just ahead of these guys. So Darren really attributing himself well. There's still quite a lot, but you can see the dry line now beginning to form even down the straight. Darren now to the outside on Emmanuel. Is he going to have a goal?
The defender of CRC, and he's not going to let this go easily. He's going to late break Darren.
Oh, and they make contact slightly, forces him wide, Emmanuel.
He's forcing him still wide.
Yeah, I think Emmanuel...
on that green curve there, you want to be very careful.
Emmanuel, now, Darren is just about going to get into play. Venom, by the way, has picked up a penalty. I'm not sure what for. Probably maybe for a corner cut, but Darren not going to be happy with that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Darren actually goes for a late break around the outside here on Emmanuel, and he thinks about it, and he's going to go for the move around the outside. Emmanuel just doesn't leave the door open as well. They make contact. It's not really on, to be honest. This is racing, guys, not ping pong. Sinclair and Emmanuel, 6th and 7th. They go through Curva Grande. Hopefully they can keep it clean and not make contact with each other this time around. Sinclair ran the outside here with Emmanuel, trying to get the traction. He's got the inside line. Has he got the brakes of the Scotsman's car? Just about. Very late on the brakes. Oh, Sinclair gets caught on the curb. He's ran the outside and they're still side by side. They're literally glued together. It's like somebody's swinging a pendulum on both of these cars.
Off the track.
Darren off the track, and Emmanuel goes wide. And that is Sinclair's chance to go through, and he's through. He's up to 6th. He realised Emmanuel was going to make a mistake. Good. Yeah. I would say not fair racing, to be honest, between them both, but Sinclair got the job done anyways. And Andy into the pits, possibly the first to go on to dries.
Interesting, yeah. I was going to say, that was like a half a lap battle, and it wasn't the cleanest, and Andy's going mightily slow.
Very slow. That is his pit stop. He nearly missed it, I think.
Yeah. But Darren and Emmanuel is the defender of CRC. You will not get past Emmanuel without him giving you a fight, and I think Darren has learned that.
And he's putting too much fuel in. It's going to cost him. It's 60 litres of fuel. That's more than enough for the end of the race. He should have just, honestly, there was a stop refuel button. I think he would have just done that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think maybe only 20, 25 litres. But as we saw last week in Donington, it was very, very tight on fuel, and we saw even like Darren Sinclair have to really back off and lose P3, I believe it was. But yeah, a lot of the drivers coming in. Nissim's into the pits now.
In 7th.
And let's see what he does with fuel.
And he's going very similar, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
47, yeah, I think it might be about 60 litres of fuel. 60 litres is more than enough to get to the end. I think, to be honest, on a full tank, these guys probably could have got to the end.
I think so. Well, they only put in 47.7, so that seems okay. He's probably getting damage done or something, because they're not changing the tires. He's not doing tires. Did you see him change tires?
No. I don't think I did, anyways.
Matt's into the pits as well.
Yep, there he is. Venom, by the way, came out of the pits as a result of his awful contact with High Grade. There is High Grade as well, just exiting the pit lane now, behind Nissim, I think that is, coming out of the pits. Speedster leads. Regulator second. It's only the comfiest margin I think you'll ever have. 53.5 seconds has Speedster got. He could honestly make 2 pit stops, not fuel up, and still win this.
Yeah, absolutely. 22 liters of fuel, 21 minutes remaining. I don't think he's going to make it to the end. I don't think you go around this track with 1 liter per lap. So, I mean, actually, no, not 1 liter. No, because it's 2... What's what, 2 minutes?
Andy lost it through Ascari. Yeah, just saw the car spin through Ascari there, and Andy, once again, yeah, Venom, I think, got caught on that curb on the inside, the left-hander coming through.
Yeah. There's about, what, 13 laps remaining or so? 12, 13 laps remaining.
Yeah.
Speedster might be okay on fuel, depending on what his fuel usage is. He has the gap to really fuel save if he wants to. If I was him, I would just stay out right now. Like, the track seems to be okay. Those wet tires, I'm not sure how much they're overheating by, but that's the next step. Or the next thing to watch is that, if the drivers are still having the wet tires on, are they overheating, and by how much? As we see a dry line actually being formed. It's very, very hard to see, but there is a dry line, and I think you can only maybe see that if you're on board, or if you're actually driving in the race, which obviously we're not, so it's... Yeah, as you can see, it definitely is drying up. You see the little patches of water on the inside curve there of Curva Grande on the outside as well. So I'm surprised that Andy's in the pits. Wait, was he in last lap too?
Yes, he was.
So he already pit, right? Or was that...
No, he put it last lap around and he's back in. Not sure what the problem is for Andy, but...
Nothing's happening.
Unless he's picked up damage from the spin. There was Scary. I think that's what he might have done.
But would it be worth it to stay out and manage the damage, though, rather than lose all this position, lose all this time? I mean, that's a massive amount of time lost in the pits. Twice.
There's Massa going through Parabolica, so he's out in 7th, so he had the room to go for the move there. And that is Venom, I think.
Outside. Yeah. He's got his hood back on. I don't recognize him with that.
That's not Venom, that is McToasty going through.
Ah, gotcha.
So actually, McToasty now has lapped Andy completely. He's lapped Nissim. Sinclair, I think, is the only one not to be lapped by Speedster. There is Speedster actually just behind him. Coming through Parabolica.
You can see him on the straight.
His nearest championship rival is about to be lapped by the championship leader. I didn't think we'd be seeing that, and he's set to 44.1.
Jeez, and that's on the wet tires too. Because he hasn't pit yet.
He can't be on dries, can he?
No, he hasn't. No, Speedster hasn't pit, so he's on the wets still. And he's 17.8 liters to go. I'm not sure if he can make it on fuel. I'm surprised he's not trying to cool down those wet tires. I'm sure they're overheating.
Yeah, they definitely are.
They have to be. But he's set a 44.1, so obviously he still has the grip and he's finding the time somewhere. I mean, I have no idea where, but... And he's again, faster on his first sector by almost 1/10.
I think that's LRT Matter, if I'm not mistaken, getting out of the way. It is. Yeah. LRT Matter getting out of the way of the leader there, Speedster. And Sinclair right on the back of Emmanuel. This is for 4th and 5th. This is a battle out on track. Let's hope we keep it clean. Right? Yeah, round 2, gloves are off. But Emmanuel, not close enough. Sorry, Sinclair, not close enough to Emmanuel. There's still like little wet patches coming through on the bridge down towards Ascari, but otherwise everything else is fine. Emmanuel nearly losing half control of the car there, but now Sinclair is on the back, and the Scotsman is going to really try and get this move done around the outside. You saw what happened this time around, though. Last time around Team of Parabolica, and Emmanuel goes too deep, and Sinclair's put off by Emmanuel. Goodness me, Sinclair loses control of the car completely. Luckily, Nissim is over 50 seconds behind, and Emmanuel just makes a mistake, forces Devon straight into a mistake. Flashing lights there from Emmanuel, saying, "I'm sorry," I think. And Emmanuel still leads. And in fact, I think it was Speedster that is flashing the lights for Emmanuel to get through and to get out of the way. Because there's Speedster, the leader, and Emmanuel, he's going to block him into turn 2. Oh my goodness me, he needs to get out of the way. I know he's in for a battle with Darren, but he needs to get out of the way here. And he has, just about.
There he is, yep.
Hopefully he's not too late on the brakes.
He let off there, and Darren's actually got a pretty good run going down into the second chicane again. I forgot the names of the first and second chicanes, but yeah, Darren's right on the back again, so he gets a good run.
Yeah, right on the back of him, 3/10 off. Championship second. He will still stay second, I must stress, coming into after tonight's race. If it stays as it is, he will stay second, guaranteed. But look, still spray being kicked up here from the back of Emmanuel's car. Let's cut on board with Darren in his pursuit to get Emmanuel. Beautiful view. Down the inside line, you can see the spray being kicked up.
You can see the car kind of twitching a little bit. So I think there are actually little puddles here and there starting to form as the track dries. So if the drivers go offline too much, you may get like that weird like twitch, when you go over that patch of water. Darren picks the outside again. Emmanuel goes defensive, and he's probably learned... Oh, this is a great view. Nice one.
Around the outside he goes. Emmanuel, hanging off the camber of the corner. Darren around the outside. Has he got the move done? No, Emmanuel is still there, and he cuts to the inside, and he's going to run Jason to the pit wall. Darren across the line, just about in front. I think, to be honest, he might have this one done, but Emmanuel is not going to give up without a fight. He is the defender of CRC, and he's going to try and come back at this one down towards turn 1. Beautiful on board with the chase cam. He's gone too deep on the brake, surely, and he's into the back of him. Knew that from an absolute mile off. He overbroke, and Darren's done as well. And again, Emmanuel forces Darren into a mistake. Just unnecessary, to be honest. Emmanuel just totally outbroke himself into the back of Darren. Darren probably was half losing the car anyways with the contact that was made. And that, I think, is all our team mattered down the inside of Sinclair, unlapping himself. This race is mad, honestly. It's only 15 minutes to go.
Absolutely. Well, we've had action from start to finish, and wow, I mean, just mistakes and things happening here and there. But Emmanuel, I think he wanted to wait, it looked like, on the exit of turn 2. So, and then he realized that Darren had spun, and he just decided to move on. So I think maybe he was trying to apologize for hitting him. He's somebody go massively wide and exit Lesmo too. But I think Emmanuel realized that he did tap Darren, and then I think Darren just spun on his own at the exit of turn 2. Possibly from the contact from Emmanuel, but we'll have to see onboards and see replays later.
14 minutes to go. Speedster leads, but gap has reduced to 58 seconds. It is reduced, but it's reduced.
It's almost a minute. That is insane. That's incredible.
Fuel saving. 9.9 litres of fuel is not going to get him to the end. Agulator 12.3, borderline, I think.
Agulator P2 though, well done. I mean,
fantastic.
After all the carnage and all the action that we've had this race, that is a job well done. Race well driven too. Even though he's had a few offs here and there, but honestly, no major incidents that I can remember. Just a few little minor off tracks. So, the last year's Tier 2 GT3 champion is showing why he is the GT3 Tier 2 champion. Really good drive. Very impressed.
Is it raining again out on track? I've just seen some spots of rain. Again.
You got new glasses though about 2 weeks ago, right? Are you sure it's the right prescription?
I got my new glasses today.
Got
them today. I swear I saw a spot of rain on my screen there.
It might be. If it starts raining and whoever's pitted for dry tires are going to be just kicking themselves. So you see, I mean, the track is quite dry.
Yeah.
And who else is on the wet tires? I mean, everybody's on the wet tires except for Andy who pits, Matt who pits.
Nissim pit as well, Matt, Venom and High Grade.
So pretty much the top 5?
Top 5 are still out, I think.
Yeah, on the wet tires.
Well,
interesting.
I apologise to anybody that is viewing this and probably wanting battles. We can't give you any because there's literally, 6 seconds I think is the closest battle, and that's not really a battle. It's frustrating.
I think the one battle we did see was that half lap battle between Darren Sinclair and Emmanuel, and that was exciting. Quite aggressive, I think, from both of them, trying to get that position. Really just trying to fight it out, but not have that anymore. Speed's just open that gap. Oh, Darren's into the pits.
Sinclair into the pits. This will be for dries, this will be for splash and dash possibly as well. It'll be out in front of Nissim easily.
Yeah. I think that's why he just made the call, is maybe it's just not worth the risk.
Minutes now to Agulator, by the way. Speedster to Agulator. Could be a chance, actually, for him to lap the whole field. Didn't think I'd say that. There could be a chance, though.
Absolutely incredible.
43.2 last time around, I've just noticed. My God. It's 2 seconds quicker than his qualifying time.
The track conditions are pretty good, I imagine, as the gap actually goes back down or below 1 minute. Darren coming out of the pits now, 4.9 liters of fuel for the Speedster, so he's going to have to make a pit stop probably this lap or next lap just to make it to the end, but it'll be a splash and dash for him. I don't think he'll change tires. I think he's quite comfortable on these wet tires in these kind of conditions as he keeps setting fast lap after fast lap, proving why he is P1 in the championship at this point in time. So,
champion-elect?
Oh. Yeah, I would say so. How many races are left in the season? Is it
5
7?
after tonight, I think.
5?
Pretty sure. I think we've only got 13 rounds, so yeah. Round 8 tonight, nice. Round 9 next week. I think there's only 5 after tonight.
What round is next week?
I shall tell everyone. Let's have a look on Discord. So next week, it's Imola.
Oh.
Imola. Yeah, so there is 5 races.
Track.
Imola, Sugo, Fuji, Kota and Dubai. No experience of rain as Emmanuel comes into the pits from 4th. No expectation of rain in any of those races.
Excellent. I think Imola will be... It's a really fun track to drive. I'm not sure it'll provide the best racing. A tight track, not a lot of overtaking opportunities. A lot of chances just to kind of follow, though, and if you make a mistake down into, I don't know the corner names of Imola, but that final double left-hander, you know, the braking, kind of a kink to the right and downhill braking, there's sand pit on the outside, so that'll be a place to overtake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for Imola, and then Sugo is a very difficult track, and then you said Fuji, I think, that's...
Fuji, yeah.
That massive long straight, I think the longest straight that we'll have this season. I think it's like over a mile long or something.
Yeah.
Manuel coming out of the pits. He's good to the end of the race. So.
And Nissim is ahead of Darren Sinclair. And he's into the pits.
Darren's into the pits.
I wonder if he spun. He has. I think he spun actually out on track,
yeah,
Sinclair.
Damage.
So
his right light is out too.
Right light, yeah.
Ah, man, that's it. He was in P5 as well. And that was, I mean, any point in this. Sorry, any points in this point of the championship is going to help. I mean, he could get down to the final 2 races, final race, and Darren's going to say, "Oh man, if I didn't spin there or whatnot, I would have possibly, you know, won the championship or something."
It's dries. Everyone's in. Speed's into the pits from the lead of the race, and he is well over a minute ahead of Mac Tilsey before he came into the pit lane there, and he has put 12.9 litres of fuel. Might go up slightly. Yeah, 20 litres of fuel will get him to the end very easily.
Dries.
Dries. I think it's a plan he has.
I haven't seen. He's actually one of the top runners that is actually changing tires. I don't think anybody else is.
He's out.
He's floating on them. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Tulsti is the Wascari. Speeds as well out in front.
Yeah, it's easy to keep P1.
And Aguileta has already been out of the pits as well. Aguileta is just going through the Della Roggia chicane. So actually, Speeds are just coming out of the pits now. I would say that's about a 20-second gap to Aguileta. First to third. Oh, is that Speeds who actually cuts across the white line there? That might be a penalty for him.
Possibly, yeah. Gotta follow the protocol, follow the rules. McToasty only 20 seconds behind. That's a pretty good gap. McToasty in the pits.
He's into the pits.
Yeah.
20-second gap, no longer. I think it's going to be now, above a minute. And there is a threat.
0.5 litres of fuel. She's cutting it close.
There's a real threat, actually, that Aguileta is going to be well ahead of Mac Tulsty as well. So Mac Tulsty could be landing himself on the podium. Aguileta could be second. And hopefully... But Mac Tulsty is coming out of the pits now. So I think Mac Tulsty is fine for second. Yeah,
because the only... Look, the fuel is only 15.4. Aguileta's only in 12. But did Aguileta take tires?
No, I don't think he did. I know he went into the pit lane.
Yeah.
Mac Tulsty out, and there's Aguileta in the background of the shot.
Back. Yep.
Mac Tulsty is through, and he's up into second position, so he's actually undercut Aguileta.
I wonder if Aguileta made a mistake when he came out of the pits, because, you know, as you said, Aguileta was actually in P2 before all this pit stop rotation, so Aguileta may have made a mistake, maybe just a slight off track, and that gave him, you know, the 6 or 7, 8 second gap that he needed to for McToasty to actually jump him. So well done, McToasty.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this race, of course, progresses. I mean, we've only got 6 minutes to go. There's nothing really much happening. Everyone, I think, has been into the pits, if I'm not mistaken. Darren is down in 8th position. An awful race for him out on track. It's a race he can forget, again. And he's into the pits again. No damage, no fuel problems. Drive through? No, he's in for pit stop. I wonder if he's going to retire the car.
Tires. Wait.
No. Maybe. Let's have a look. Let's keep on board with them. 5.5 minutes to go.
He's putting in so much fuel. 69 liters of fuel is just at 55. I wonder if he selected the wrong. He selected the wrong pit strategy or something. 75 liters now.
Fastest lap
it's very
of the race.
easy. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say fastest lap of the race, possibly. Nothing from Toulouse.
I don't know, but it's not. Maybe.
Let's have a look
But
at the
it's
fastest
very
lap.
easy for these drivers to pick the wrong pit strategy. You know, the one that doesn't have damage repair, the one that fuels up and no tires. Game is a little quirky like that, so I'm not sure if that may be an issue.
There's Darren coming out of the pits. Sinclair just Sinclair coming out of the pits. Venno just fallen board was coming through a Scari, so that's how far he is clear of Venom in 9th position there. 30 seconds worth of penalties for Venom.
That's got to be the incident with high grade.
High grade, yeah, definitely. Yep. Which was unavoidable. It wasn't his fault at all. So that'll get removed off in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure.
Best lap, by the way, Speedster, 43.2. Darren's best, 45.2. 2 seconds to find. Impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially with that amount of fuel on board, it's going to definitely slow him down. You need very light fuel, low fuel to be able to match that 43 something from Speedster.
Well, there is Speedster. Wow. But what I'm going to ride on board with, because Agulator is getting closer to Mac Tulsi here. It's only 4 seconds the gap. It's not out of the question that Mac Tulsi could be under a little bit of pressure. And actually, Mac Tulsi made a complete howler last time around, I think. 52 flat compared to 44.6. Oh, and Agulator spun!
And Agulator spun!
Commentator's curse.
Yeah. That's probably going to erase any chance he had of attaining a P2. But P3 is... I mean, that's still good.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed, unless he's just going to pick up a 30-second penalty. Should be fine on fuel. There should be, what, 3 laps to go. High grades into the pits as well. Oh, this race has fallen apart completely.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness me. Let's have a look on the comment section and see how you guys are doing. What is the race time now? 26.4 or still 1.7 for day races is what McKinley for you says. I think we've changed it so it's springtime conditions now, if I'm not mistaken. There was a change that happened.
Yes. Yeah, so that also might be catching some drivers out because we changed it from July to April. So if I think it was in July, the track might have actually dried up faster. That might have, thrown the race up even more. So I'm not really sure what would have been better, a July race or April race. But here we are stuck with an April race, and race is just falling apart completely. I mean, Speedster is just in a race of his own, and everybody else has been changing positions like crazy. We've seen multiple pit stops from multiple drivers, more than 2 or 3 times for some of them, which is a bit, it's not orthodox for a 1-hour race, but, these conditions, nighttime, and you get damage, it's going to pretty much force you to go in the pits.
Speedster is on the penultimate lap of the race. That's if he chooses to go out on the final lap. I mean, he's got 52 seconds. There's more than enough time for him to slow down and make this the final lap of the race, but it is up to him. I think he'll try and go fastest lap.
I think so. Andy and Nissim seem to be... Andy passes Nissim, actually, moves up to P5.
Andy went straight line through turn 1.
Ah, that's why.
Nissim up to P5
I saw that position
again.
change. I'm like, oh, Andy got past Nissim, and no, never mind. Yeah, straight line turn 1.
He might have got too late on the brakes, I think, did Andy. So the Scotsman now down into P6 once again. But we can focus on this because this is a battle that we've been robbed of pretty much throughout the race. That is RRT Matter, I think, going so a high grade, possibly going so just coming out of the pit lane there. But Andy on the back of Nissim. But where is Speedster, by the way, out on track? There is Speedster. He's got to wait, what, 35 seconds, roughly? I don't think he'll wait 35 seconds, to be honest. For the final lap.
Another lap, and then he'll win it. I wonder if Andy is going to be able to maybe get Nissim for P5. That'll be interesting. I think Emmanuel's got P4 locked up. A really good drive from Emmanuel, to be honest. He's made a few mistakes here and there. Very tough defending, as we got somebody weaving back and forth.
That's Emmanuel. That's Emmanuel in 4th. Nissim 5th, Andy 6th. Emmanuel could really be at a massive disadvantage here. Nissim and Andy are catching. He's fine on fuel. He's just losing
Manuel's on
pure
the wet
pace.
tires still.
That's why.
Right?
That's why he's getting close in. Or did he come into the pit? I don't think I've seen Emmanuel come into the pits.
Has he managed his whole race
hasn't.
on that fuel?
He hasn't, because he's 4 seconds slower than Nissim. So I think he's still out on wet. He has to be.
He's... Interesting. Has he made it the whole way on fuel? 'Cause everybody else has had to pit for the most part. So he's either been fuel saving like crazy, or something. What's Speedster doing?
Turned off his lights. The track went pitch black there for almost a second. But Speedster coming down now through the bridge under Ascari, and this is going to be his race to win. Oh, and he's gone off. And I mean, he can win, but not in that way. Back to the battle though, because Emmanuel, Nissim and Andy are really beginning to heat up in 4th, 5th and 6th. We'll come on board with Speedster as he comes around the final corner. These guys are on the final lap of the race as well.
Oh, that's
so
going to
this
end in tears.
really counts.
I am calling it. This is going to end in tears. This is not going to be good. Emmanuel's just probably sweating bullets right now, trying to keep...
Oh, and Andy's lost it! Andy's lost it through Ascari. It's Nissim against Emmanuel. Speedster across the line to win this one.
Speedster 3 wins in a row, just completely dominant. What's he doing?
He's going to park it across the line. There's Aguilerator coming across the line as well. And he might get disqualified here. Nissim on the back of Emmanuel. He's across the line to win. Nissim down the inside line through Parabolica. Is it going to be a straight line race to the line? Nissim and Emmanuel. This is going to be so close. I think Emmanuel might get him. Emmanuel's got him surely down the straight.
He's got him.
About. Wow. Brilliant finish for 4th position. Emmanuel and Nissim. I know they're leaving it all out of the track, but goodness me, that's a close finish for 4th. And Emmanuel, purely, I think, just with the straight line speed, gets 4th and just gives him a bit of a love tap after that. Oh my goodness me! Right,
that outside line. Well, he got the run out of that outside line, and just that speed that he carried just push him into P4. So well done, well done.
Unbelievable. Right, I'm gonna go on my friends list for just a second, so I can add McTulsty and Aguilerator. Right. No, I'm still on screen, by the way. I'm just doing it through my iPad.
Gotcha.
And I think the final couple of cars are about to come across the line. Aguilerator's already crossed. So is Emmanuel. Oh, Speedster's upside down. Oh my god. Oh, and Andy!
He's upside down.
Dear me, Carnage, RRT, Matt. I think we're only waiting for Venom to come across the line. And this is Venom and...
Oh, and Sinclair.
Sinclair.
Venom got him.
And Venom got him.
Right? Or
no penalties.
No, Venom did get him though, but from penalties, he should get that 30-second penalty removed. Darren got a 1-second penalty, so Venom should get P8. Darren should be in P9.
I don't know who we're waiting on.
Are just incredible. My goodness.
I don't know who we're waiting on. I think everyone's came across the line. Speed's now back up on his front.
I think so.
High grade there, Venom there, Darren, LRT Matter, Andy's just like that. Nissim, Emmanuel. We'll run above with Emmanuel because he is doing donuts, I think. Yeah. Unless one of either Venom or Sinclair have not came across the line and have not been counted. High grade's already crossed the line. Oh, actually, it might be high grade. There we are. Autodromo Nacional de Monza is finished. Speedster takes it from McTulsty in second. It says Aguilerator had a DNF, but he didn't. He finished across the line in third. Emmanuel finishing in fourth. Nissim in fifth. Andy in sixth, with RLT Matter in seventh. Sinclair in eighth. High grade in ninth. And racing at home retired even before the race begun. Venom, by the way, did finish in ninth position. High grade would have finished 10th. So just to confirm on that as well. Let me get Aguilerator added up. McTulsty is already on my friends list because he's just accepted there, and Aguilerator. Friend request has been sent to Aguilerator, so we should get all of these guys in, and hopefully Aguilerator will accept. He's Zimbabwean, by the way. Is Aguilerator tonight?
Really?
Yeah, it's
showing up. I see the flag. Interesting.
The Zimbabwean
is...
flag.
What's his nationality? Is it...
Spanish.
What? Spanish? That's what I thought.
Yeah, Spanish Agulator.
Spanish flag.
But not Zimbabwean.
Oh.
Unless he has turned into a Zimbabwean. Who knows?
What a race.
knows?
Oh my goodness.
What a race. Right, let's get... I might have to switch over my controller, because I've just realised it's done on one bar. I'm just going blue screen for a second while I invite everyone in. So we've got Speedster. I think it's on my friends list, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm spelling Speedster wrong, which is great. So that... where's Speedster? Oh, there he is. Got him. McTulsty. Sorry, this has taken a little while. McTulsty in, and just I've typed in McTulsty and it comes up with 160 people. There's McTulsty and Agulator. If you can accept my friend request, you'll be able to get into the party, I think. So Agulator. And there he is there. Right, so the top three have been invited for for interviews, I should say. And I know we're probably going to get these guys in. Hopefully, all being well, we'll get an interview from all three of our top three drivers. And we'll wait on them. But in the meantime, Imola next week, we go from going from one Italian track to the other, Monza to Imola. Very similar to what will be in Formula 1 as well. How do you think these cars are going to get on around here?
I think the curbs are actually going to be ones to avoid at Imola, especially turn 1, turn 2, those white curbs. Get on that, that's pretty much auto spin from what I've experienced in the past, as well as turn 3, turn 4. And then that little downhill section, that little double right, I don't know the corner names, but that's my favorite part of the track. It's just you carry so much speed into that. And these cars, obviously with their aerodynamic grip and their mechanical grip, will be a blast to drive. The chicane will be another place to avoid the curbs. Oh, hey, Speedster.
Oh,
and he's here. Race winner.
God,
Third week in a row.
Man, I'm sweating. Holy shit. Oh, sorry. I forgot. This is a PG whatever the hell.
Oh, no, don't. It's all good, all good.
So, how was it for you guys? Must have been really exciting for you guys to commentate over that one.
Oh, it was
Man,
just
I feel really jealous.
Absolute mess and carnage. Lap 1, lap 2 was, it just couldn't keep up, but yeah, I think we were most impressed by the gap that you had, was it almost a minute or something at one point. But yeah, James, if you've got any questions.
Yeah, well, I would say tell us about your race, but I think I know how your race has probably gone, to be honest. But anyways, tell us about it, because it was a bit hairy on the first couple of laps.
Okay, it was hairy for the first, 3 corners. First off, I get a decent start, but of course, I don't know what it is, but I just can't get good starts. I look behind me and I see people going 3 wide, so I start freaking out. And I just left people space on the outside, and I thought I had the position done out of turn 2, but Darren actually was able to somehow swing it around the outside and keep the place. But then down into turn 3, he started defending, and I kind of had a feeling he was going to miss his braking point, so I just broke a little earlier, and I saw him go way too deep, and then I knew that I would get him on the cut back into turn 4. So that's what I did. He hit the curb, kind of vaulted the car off onto the gravel, and I just went up his inside and had the move done. From there, I mean, it was just me kind of driving the car and minding my own business. I was at a party with a couple of people, so we were having some fun, but, you know, we were protesting. Well, we want our safety cars in this from now on because, you know, first of all, lap 1 took damage for half the people, and they had to go and pit and fix the damage, which just made the race just boring for both you guys and us as well. So, you know, I don't know if you saw me with my lights off for some of the race. That was us, quote-unquote, protesting not having safety cars. But, you know, going forward, again, it was fun. I had a good race. I'm happy the way I drove, despite me spinning. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but I spun on the dries. But
Didn't see it.
I feel like going forward, we should definitely try to implement safety cars because, I mean, I don't think I should be winning a race by a minute. Like, I don't think that's right. I think that we should have a system that allows people who've gotten damage to... Because, like, another thing is, too, when you know that your race could be saved through a safety car, you'll put in practice. But when you know that if you get a slight bit of contact and you hit a wall and your race is over, you're not going to put the work in because it's not worth it. So, you know, just going forward, it's definitely something I think we as the drivers would all want to see.
Interesting. Yeah. You know, form a drivers association, I think, like F1 has, and lobby that. But I think you make a really good point. And you know, the past, I think, 2, 3, 4 races that I've been here with, you know, commentating with James, and we've seen the gaps kind of open up at some point during the race, and especially today during lap 1, lap 2. It's just you know, half the field gets damaged, and it's very treacherous conditions. So yeah, I definitely can see. You know, your view on that, and yeah, hopefully, you know, we see maybe a safety car in the future. But you know, besides the point, well done, and 3rd race in a row, so you must be feeling really good. The championship is now championship gap at P2 has increased for you. So how are you feeling for Imola for next week? Really fun track.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what the championship gap is, but I know Darren didn't have a good race. Same with Andy, and those are my closest rivals. So that just made things better in a way when you look at it. But no, Imola, it's a fun track. It's quick. I've raced there before in CRC, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good race.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting, obviously, and I've got to agree, to be honest, on that safety car point. Commentating over a race that is an hour long, and with there being quite a few incidents in the first couple of laps as well, I've got to be honest, it's not the greatest thing to commentate on at all, and we were jumping and changing between loads of incidents, but yeah, a safety car I think would be a good thing going forward, so admins, if you're listening, get it sorted.
Yeah, no, and really, when you think about it, you know, first of all, we had 9 people show up today, or 10 people show up to race today, which is, you know, I want to, from a driver standpoint, I want to be racing with, you know, a full grid. I think it's fun. I love the competition, you know, and I want it to be so that anyone has a shot at winning. And obviously, the people who put in the work and put the practice will be up the front, but a safety car could put someone else who maybe doesn't have the pace up there. And, you know, I remember I did a league race in another league, around Watkins Glen, and they had safety cars in this leagues, and I stayed out. I got something wrong with the strategy, and I was at the back going for a safety car restart, and you know the next 4 or 5 laps were so fun because it was me trying to fight my way back through traffic, and everyone was close. It was car competitive racing, and you know that's what I would love to see, that type of stuff from CRC. I think it could be a really awesome place for everyone to have fun and have good competitive racing, but you know it's just, when people don't show up because they're afraid that if they put in practice it will all be thrown away because of not having safety cars, you know, it's not good for everyone. So hopefully we can get something together for Imola. Maybe we can have safety cars or a system for that race, and I'm really excited for that, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, Imola is certainly going to be quite an interesting race, I think, in the LMP3s, but I shall let you go and enjoy your night. Thank you so much, Speedster.
Thank you, James. Have a good one. Congratulations, McToasty, I think, on a P2, and also to, what was it?
Agulator.
Yep. Great for him. Good job. Yep. And again, thank you guys for commentating. I know you might not have had the most exciting experience tonight, but you know, we appreciate you guys being here. It's
all good.
Awesome. All right.
Enjoy your night, man.
Have a good one, boys.
And now we have our second place man, debutant in the CRC LMP3 series tonight, McToasty. McToasty, first of all, are you here? You're here. How was your race? Because it must have been like a baptism of fire out there, to be honest, avoiding all the incidents. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, really, really good drive, and we did notice that you managed to avoid all the incidents on the first few corners and first lap, and just suddenly found yourself up in P3, P4, something like that. And yeah, really, really well done. I probably had a few off tracks that we didn't catch. I'm sure everybody did, as the conditions were pretty treacherous. But same thing as I asked to Speedsta. How do you think you're going to get on at Imola, and you excited for that race? Yeah. Absolutely. You had really good pace, and looking forward to seeing you fight towards the front again next week. Congrats, man.
Yeah, another debutant to watch out for was Venom last week, and now Mac Tolsty this week. I will let you go and enjoy your night. Thank you so much for the interview.
See you.
Oh, I'm having a little a text interview as well with Agulator on Discord, and his thoughts are that he had a very good race. His strategy was wrong. He had to change the tyres to softs, and he should have stayed with the rain tyres. But apart from that, I think he had a good race. And for Imola, I'm just waiting his response for Imola to see how he thinks he's going to get on around there. So in the meantime, yeah, Imola next week. I'm not the lobby host. Oh, you are the lobby host. Do you want to change the track to Imola, and I'll show the viewers?
Yep. Let me see if I can do that.
Hopefully you can. On the spot to start a new lobby. The Autodromo International Enzo e Dino Ferrari Imola. That's a mouthful to say. I'm just going to say Imola.
What a name.
So, I can't click on the track, which is quite strange. And I normally can. Ah, very strange. Well, there is the track map, anyways. At Imola, in the top left. If there is a place I'm happy to race, to be honest, I'm a bit surprised today with my pace, says Agulator as well. But it was a great race from him, and hopefully Agulator will be here next week to race in Imola, and hopefully everyone else will. And you never know, we might have the safety cars out. The admin team will be working hard, I'm sure, behind the scenes on that. But thank you so much, Professional, once again for joining me alongside in the commentary box. And Agulator as well, just saying he doesn't like Imola too much, so podium again will seem very difficult. As his final thoughts.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's quite a technical track and very fast and very fast paced. So, but anything can happen, as we saw today. So never count your chickens before they hatch. But I expect to see Agulator trying to have a clean race, and yeah, he's proven time and time again from last season and again today that he will pick up the pieces wherever other people make mistakes. So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
Well, it should be a more exciting race, I think, in Imola. Hopefully a more cleaner race as well in the opening couple of laps, and we shall see how that progresses. But until then, I've been James Head. He's been 007 Professional. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight here at Monza. We'll see you next week for CRC in Imola, and I'll also announce on Tuesday what is going to be happening for the tiers of F1. Fantastic. But until then, goodbye.